Warning: the following program was made by a former broadcasting professional, a Generation Y operator who still believes in doing things properly. You will hear modern delivery, blunt opinions, and the occasional truth some people like to dodge. If that troubles you, well, you have been warned. Before we talk about the gear, we should talk about where it came from. This S-Line was the station of Wolfgang VK3WY, one of the most respected operators in the Collins world. Wolfgang wasn't just a technician, he was an engineer in the truest sense of the word. A man who could move effortlessly from custom building Collins power supplies to designing digital frequency displays for Collins and Drake equipment. When the day came for this station to find a new home, Wayne VK2VRC chose to pass it on to me. Wayne was a close mate of Wolfgang and spoke to him almost every day. There was an understanding between those gentlemen that the S-Line would always find the right home when its time finally came. I'm grateful for that trust. This is not just a radio, it's a legacy, and it's my responsibility to keep it alive. So let's take a look at what sits on the bench. A custom-built 516 F2 power supply, engineered by Wolfgang, a 32S3 transmitter, a 75S3B receiver, the 312B4 station control, and on the back end, this station drives the Ameritron AL-82, because sometimes you simply need horsepower. Yeah, it's a mouthful of model numbers. But in the old days, your station was all accessories. If your bench didn't look like a control panel from NASA, you simply were not trying hard enough. Like the C-130 Hercules, the Collins S-Line has been around since the 1950s. Different crews, same purpose, and no sign of retirement. In Vietnam, Collins equipment helped to carry the word. S-Lines and KWM2s sat in Mars shacks and military communication rooms, running nightly phone patches from Saigon to the US and across the world. Lines of soldiers waited their turn. Their voices travelled half a world away on gear that never broke a sweat. You will also find Collins equipment in embassy basements and logistics HQs. When the microwave links failed, the S-Line became the lifeline. HF to Bangkok or Clark Air Base. Reliable, clean, and easy to service. Not bad for equipment that began life on the ham operator's desk. Non-Apache lab operators like to imagine they're flying an Apache. They're not flying an Apache, they're running a flight simulator. Collins isn't a simulator, it's the mission. Do you choose to accept it? Now let's talk about the hardware, and it all begins with the power supply. The custom-built supply is old-school muscle, heavy, solid, and dependable. The sort of thing you would trust in the storm. Maybe Desert Storm? The 32S3 doesn't need a start screen. You throw the switch, tune it, and you're on the air. If your radio needs longer to boot than your CQ call, you have a problem. Rob Sherwood measured the 32S3 at negative 36 dB third order, about negative 42.5 dB under peak envelope power. That's commercial-grade linearity from a transmitter built before most of the day's operators were even alive. The receiver is simplicity at its best. No menus, no software updates. Just Collins engineering doing exactly what Collins engineering was famous for. It hears what matters and ignores the rest. The 312B4 station control ties it all together. A real speaker, real metering. If you feel like stepping into the past, the phone patch is waiting for you, just as it was in those Mars shacks half a century ago. Together, they sound the way radio was meant to sound. No latency, no digital artifacts, no nonsense. Just signal, audio, and intent. Collins S-Line is the C-130 Hercules of ham radio. Born in another era, still in the fight, and still relevant. Compared to Art Collins and the people who stood beside him, I am nothing. We are all nothing. What they built still stands taller than any of us. Whether you're new to the hobby or nearing the end of your run, The discipline remains the same. Remember why you started. Respect the work, respect each other, keep these rigs alive for the right reasons. I do not claim to be an authority. I'm simply another enthusiast doing my best to honour what matters. But take what I say with a grain of salt, because I am not important. But thank you for watching. Thank you for caring enough to keep the glow alive. And remember, if your shack doesn't trip at least one breaker, you're not operating, you're browsing. I'm VK3WY. This is Real Ham Radio. Subscribe if you've ever looked at the Collins dial and just nodded.
This is Echo Alpha 5 Juliet Zulu, EA5JZ, CQ Pacific on the long path.
Victor Kilo 3 Uniform Sierra Alpha.
Okay, loads of people calling. There was somebody ending with Alpha, the other speakers I'll get back to you in a moment. Ending in Alpha, go ahead.
Victor Kilo 3 Uniform Sierra Alpha.
Hello there, VK3WY, EA5JZ, long time no hear, Andrew. Good morning to you.
Collins audio gets through.
It's been a while since we last spoke away. Christ, away back in March. Anyway, Andrew, good to catch up, mate. I'll give you a report in the next over. VK3WY, EA5JZ.
Yeah, likewise there, Paul. We did speak more recently, only last month, but possibly both of us didn't log that there, Paul. I was tuning across the band in quite a hurry, and you will have heard me on the JRC JST 245, which has since been sold there, Paul. And I'm transmitting on the Collins S-Line, another Collins S-Line you haven't heard before there, Paul. So this one only arrived in the last week, so you might tell me what you think as well there, Paul. But a very strong transmission, 10 to 15 over there in your last transmission there, Paul. EA5JZ from VK3WY, over.
VK3WY, EA5JZ. Excellent, Andrew. Well, you're 15 over S9. Lovely signal here this morning on this path. And I definitely don't have that last queue logged. So I don't know what's happened. I log every queue I saw normally as well, every single one. So I don't know what's happened with the last one. No idea. Anyway, certainly good to catch up. And the radio sounding good at this side. Good audio, punchy and clear. So no hassle with the transmission on the last over. I'm at Andrew. I'm still running the same equipment here. Nothing's changed. So I don't need to get through all the rigmarole for you, mate. But 15 dB over S9, go ahead.
I thought I did anyway, and then I went I worked night, and then the cold air of the night, and I poured it again, and I got sick. And I got over it, and I went to YouTube, and one afternoon, just to enjoy the warm, and a couple of afternoons there, the wind really came up, and it was quite cold. And of course, the pressure up again. I got that sick, I had to take 3 days off work.
See, under noisy band conditions,
It's been coming and going, but right at the moment,
you can roll that hash and trash right back.
Fairly well back to normal, so hopefully it stays away and leaves me alone. The weather is so changeable here this year, John, at this time of the year. This morning it was 12 degrees, and I think Friday...
Broadcast station, which is okay if there's signal for, S9 or above. But when you get down into amongst the noise, they become all distorted. It's very hard to pick up. And people don't sort of realise it, or maybe they do and they just don't care. But anyway, that's another story altogether. I'm looking at my signal at the moment as well, and it doesn't look too bad either. But anyway, all is good. And yes, John Laws, he of the golden microphone. Of course, these days, we've got these, what do they call themselves? Shock jocks? Whatever they want to call themselves, that, what's his name? Kyle, whatever his last name is, and Jackie O. Kyle Sanderlin, that's who it is. Jackie O. They had to one-up John Law's course and go and get a diamond-encrusted microphone. just to try and one-up themselves. So, yes, it's radio wars down here, John, where we've got the shock jocks who are, not really anything, they're just rubbish. But because they've won lots of ratings awards, they thought they were, superior, and they went out and, got a diamond-encrusted microphone, and they used it in the studio, which, it just shows the sort of ego and the mentality. ON80I of the group, VK2VRC, over.
Yeah, Roger, that's Wayne VK2VRC, ON80I, and the little group. Yeah, all very interesting. The guy, and I was looking for his surname, I knew his first name, but he was quite the shock joke, and I remember listening to him in the early 80s. And there was Ron Casey. I think he had not a list, but he kind of, instead of saying R for Ron, it was more W, whiskey for Ron. You don't have to drop in today or drop in whenever you like, but they did like hearing you. And I think Brian and Dr. Peter, I think they have a soft spot for those radios. And as mentioned before, Andrew, they did like your tidy presentation of radios. So a bit about you, Andrew. Great that you called in. It wasn't pre-arranged. You were passing by and you must have heard Wayne. So VK3USA, nice call sign, ON80I in Belgium, Andrew.
Yeah, okay there, John. ON8EI and the group from VK3, United Sugar Alpha. Yeah, well, I heard Wayne, and I did recognise you as well there, John, so I definitely couldn't resist to pop in and say g'day and have a nice chin wag. It's the Aussie spirit. It's, it's the Aussie way in the bush to, just stop and have a yarn with your mate, as John Laws would have said as well. So that's exactly what it's all about there, John and Wayne. They're keeping the dream alive.
My friend, I copy your station 100%, 57 in your report, my friend. Andrew, back to you, the Victor Kilo 3, the Uniform Sierra Alpha, IG3JJO.
Italy, Victor 3, Juliet Oscar from VK3 United Sugar Alpha. Thank you so much for the 5 and 7. You are also 5 and 7. 57 into Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Name here is Andrew. Alpha, November, Delta, Romeo, Echo, Whiskey. And I think you copied that. So very good. I believe we've got Paola. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I cheated and punched up your QRZ page here. 5 and 7 into Melbourne, Australia. Great to make the contact today. Running a vintage Collins S-Line this afternoon, a winged emblem 32S3 transmitter, 75S3B receiver, and driving an Ameritron AL-82 amplifier. So it's a mid-1960s station with a newer amplifier. Microphone back to you, Italy, Victor 3, Juliet Oscar from VK3 USA. Over.
I copy 100%, no problem. Nice to hear from you, and nice to hear from you, my friend Andrew. your report 57, 57 your report in North Italy. I live in North Italy. My name is Paul. My name is Paul.
Okay.
I live in North Italy. My condition is Foxtrot Tango 101 ISO. My amplifier 700 watt. 700 watt. My antenna 2 element Biaggi. Thank you so much, Andrew. I put in QRZ.com. Please confirm in QRZ.com QSL, my friend. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Andrew. Thank you so much for the contact. 7351, your family. Great day. Good reaction. Merry Christmas. Ciao, ciao, Andrew. VK3, Uniform, Sierra Alpha, IV3, Juliet, Ontario. Good luck, 73.
Okay, same to you as well there, Paul. Italy, Victor 3, Juliet, Oscar from VK3, United Sugar Alpha. Absolute pleasure making this contact with you today there, Paul. And yes, always enjoy these sort of QSOs as well there, mate. So hopefully I'll catch you again real soon. Maybe some other VK stations will pick you up as well. The Yaesu station is doing a very nice job, so congratulations on the setup. Italy, Victor 3, Juliet, Oscar, 73s from VK3, USA. Hooroo!
Good luck, 73. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye, my friend. Ciao, ciao, Andrew. Ciao, ciao, ciao dall'Italia.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Questo America 3,